Okay, I'm fighting a battle making this video, but it's a different battle than usual. I'm watching my little cousin while typing this script, and dude, the things she's watching on the television cannot be normal, bro. She's gonna grow up to be a boss. There's no way, man. It's always a little nasty. It just turns the youth into vegetables, just sitting there looking like a thrall at the abyss, motionless. It's probably blinked 4 times in the last 30 minutes. Worst part is there's just some cancer sound effect every 2 seconds. Every time I try to lock in and continue, it's everywhere. But see, back in my day, we had shows teaching us about the harsh reality of life, such as not to judge one based on the color of their skin, but on the content of their character.
Way to go, Trocky.
Yeah, pay attention, guys. Important lesson here.
You do not call me that.
Mm-hmm.
But Valior calls you Trock all the time.
That does not make it right.
Absolutely
What's
not.
up? I thought you said it didn't mean anything.
No, I said it means nothing. When Valior calls me Trock, he is saying that I am worthless. A nothing.
Star.
There are those on other planets who feel Tamaranians are inferior. Trock is what they call us.
So he's calling you a terrible name. And you know that if you punch him out, it'll just confirm all the bad stuff he thinks about you.
Brother knows.
Yes.
My brother knows.
You know what it feels like to be judged simply because of how you look?
Tell him why, brother.
Of course I do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm part robot.
What? Anyway, I guess I should make this about Genshin somehow. Since we were just talking about children, let's talk the doc. Zandik is a very interesting character for a number of different reasons. The primary one being, he's the only real character who's being made to be this irredeemable pile of trash. I mean, it's not really a good sign. They just keep going back to the kid experimentation stuff over and over again. They did it before the game came out, and they just went back to it again with the Arlecchino short. Furthermore, it's really not a good sign that whenever we do a Harbinger story quest, Dottore catches strays emphasizing how abhorrent he is.
The doctor again? That was uncomfortable to watch.
That person gives off a very sinister energy.
It's normal for him to give you the creeps. He scares the bejeebers out of Paimon.
I mean, and it absolutely cannot be a good sign if a partnership with Dottore is the bar for how we judge the moral standing of those around us. And now, Dottore's notorious reputation is not just limited to those outside the Fatui, as currently, there is a growing Kill Dottore movement emerging from within the Fatui Harbingers, no less.
It's a pity that Lesser Lord Kusanali already forced him to erase so many of his segments. The joy I would have derived from slicing them apart, one by one.
When I first took over the House of the Hearth, he proposed a number of plans for us to work together. He wanted me to send any rejects to him. He planned to experiment on them and then share the results with me. I heard that he and the previous knave had quite the professional rapport in that regard. All I can say is that if he weren't one of my fellow harbingers, I would have expedited their happy little reunion long ago.
They've clearly taken issue with some of his actions in the past, and maybe rightfully so. I mean, old Zandik here killed Zaniwa and mailed his heart straight to Scar a bunch, and while he hasn't done anything personally to Arlecchino, she's evidently the stalwart defender of the children, cause death be damned, these little orphan sons of bitches will serve the Saritsa. My daddy's dead. That's odd. My name isn't dead. And naturally, because the kids that wind up in front of Dottore rarely make it out as a functioning member of society, she's expressed her own desire to want to end him. However, can they do it? As Mimi of a perspective as we have on the Doctor, we need to keep some things in mind. He is rank 2 of the Fatui Harbingers. That's 4 ranks higher than Scaramouche's peak and 2 higher than Arlecchino currently is. And because he's rank 2, this also means he has power rivaling the gods. And this is by no accident. Dottore has long been obsessed with this exact goal. Quote, "A human is nothing more than a machine of a certain level of complexity," thus declared the youth from his lectern. In the seedbed of wisdom, if one were to disassemble a part of this machine and make enhancements to it, its performance could be greatly amplified, with or without a vision, and irrespective of their physique or combat skills. Enhanced humans would surely display strength far beyond the average. He eventually took this to the max when he helped the sages to turn up puppets into a fully fledged god. Putting this selfless act aside for a moment, one has to wonder, what has he done to himself? Dottore has been around for hundreds of years, despite seemingly being an ordinary mortal once, probably long ago. Until very recently, Dottore had an unknown number of segments that were meant to capture his state of mind at different stages of his life, and it's by this manner he's managed to exist for so long.
You mean there are many different versions of you in this world?
An astute guess. Even the same individual will have different cognitions at different ages. A long time ago, I made a major decision in hopes of preserving all my perspectives of how I observe the world. Observation is the first step of any experiment, but observing the current world doesn't satisfy me. It lacks an important dimension, that of time. So I saved segments of all my ages and made them into independent individuals.
They were each their own peoples, with different strengths and weaknesses. Some were strong enough to defeat Ursa the Drake, a dragon so terrifying it caused Vanessa's entire tribe to flee when they encountered it by chance. Now I'm going to be completely honest. This point of reference regarding old Zanditti's strength seems to be nigh impossible to do anything with, given we don't really know how strong Ursa the Drake really was. It seemed like it was supposed to be strong, but like, dude, it was in a gladiator arena. All I'm saying is I doubt the lions in the Colosseum were the strongest motherfuckers I could find in the safari, because, you know, they'd be a bitch to catch. So besides Ursa the Drake, how else can we accurately describe the Doctor's combat ability? The answer is not much. Not much, bro. At the bare minimum, we know he's confident enough he could defeat little old Nahida here, but even he had to tack on the caveats that he could defeat her now, sure, but eventually she will grow into it.
Lesser Lord Kusanali, you're an intelligent Archon. I'm sure you understand the disparity in our combat abilities at this time.
I guess another point of reference we have regarding his strength is that he's straight up the second strongest Harbinger. I mean, even among the God Strength ones, you know, it's not like he's teetering on the edge. There's a whole other God Strength Harbinger below him. You know, on the flip side, there's a whole other God Strength Harbinger above him. You know, he's completely average amongst those three. In any case, another thing to keep in mind regarding his combat abilities, especially as it pertains to Arlecchino and Scarface seeking vengeance, is Dottore is smart, brilliant even. Let's not forget he is the one who unlocked Scaramouche's full potential that was locked personally by a god, and as some have theorized, he could also be the one who aided the knave with the whole flame make him forget thing that they got going on with the House of the Hearth, and if that's the case, then odds are he knows a bit more about their abilities, which could also aid him when the time comes. I mean, y'all ever seen Batman vs. the Justice League? Smart niggas, they be scheming if they suspect some people may go rogue on them, and given Dottore has probably angered everyone under Fane's green earth except maybe Columbina, he's gotta know he's a target. Let's not forget, Capitano, he called Signora dishonorable. I can't imagine the words he'd use to describe Dottore. I guess we'll find out soon enough. Although, in the fights versus Arlecchino and Scaramouche, I guess he could just big dick Scaramouche at the very least, given he straight up threatened him in his own interlude quest. How foul.
I suggest you speak to me in a more respectful tone, Scaramouche. The mere fact of your utility does not make you indestructible.
So, I mean, that's all we have. I mean, the whole reason I made this vid was just to point out, hey, Dottore might be weird. He might have a lot of powerful people who want to go after him, and we haven't really seen him in a fight, but ultimately, he's rank 2, and hiding a terribly awesome power from everyone. And should the day come when those like Arlecchino and Scaramouche seek vengeance on the Doctor, he will kill them all.